Hello everyone and welcome to the Superhero Podcast, and welcome to a brand new segment called Character History. This is where, if you don't know about the heroes, I can give you a quick recap of the character's entire history and where they are standing in the world today. So let's kick off the first episode of Character History with one of my personal favourites. On this episode, I'm going to give you the history of Carol Danvers, aka Miss or Captain Marvel.
My name is Ms. Marvel, and I'm here to welcome you to Earth. Now go home.
In the 1960s, Colonel Carol Danvers was assigned to a secret NASA mission accompanying Dr. Walter Lawson, who was secretly the Kree-alien Captain Mar-Vell. However, after she had been kidnapped, an accident occurred in which she was caught in the explosion of a Kree device. Mar-Vell managed to save her life, but she would begin to develop strange new powers. And just a few years later, she would reveal her gifts to the world under the guise of Miss Marvel. Initially, her powers, which consisted of flight, super strength, energy blast, and a seventh sense to predict danger, she didn't know that she had them. When danger appeared, she would black out and transform into Miss Marvel, not knowing who Carol Danvers was. Eventually, Carol found out and made her mind whole and could fully become a true superhero. Now, in the 1970s, she would change her costume to the iconic black one-piece uniform with the gold lightning bolt. However, this was due to a controversial storyline within Marvel Comics, where she was taken and impregnated against her will. This angered many readers and forced the creators to spark a major change within the character. When she returned, the Avengers tried to apologise, but she blamed them for stating that she had been let down by them. But this was the age where she entered into a nasty feud with the mutant Rogue from the X-Men. Mystique and Miss Marvel had been in several altercations. Mystique had vowed revenge. Rogue overheard a meeting with a mystic that told Mystique that Miss Marvel would destroy Rogue, and so she flew over to Danvers' apartment and attacked her by surprise. Their fight was brutal, but as the fight went on, Rogue began to absorb Miss Marvel's powers, and eventually, Rogue having won the fight due to Marvel collapsing into a catatonic state, she threw off a bridge only to be saved by Spider-Woman, her friend. Marvel was now powerless and beaten. She would eventually get her powers back after having a successful stint without her powers. She would again meet Rogue, but the relationship between the two women both left them emotionally scarred for years, and even lead to Carol having a serious alcoholism problem. They would come to blows again in Avengers vs X-Men, where old wounds showed up in a brutal fight, but after they stopped fighting each other, they tried to stop the evil together. Following that dark period of her life, she would get better and gain a much larger appeal. Many more events followed where her character featured prominently, especially within 2006's event series House of M, when the Scarlet Witch tragically went insane and created an alternate world where mutants were the dominant species and humans were the downtrodden. She took the name Captain Marvel, and while the world was like this, she became one of Earth's most renowned and universally admired heroes, essentially becoming that reality's version of Wonder Woman. Inspired by her House of M self, Carol decided to revitalise her superhero career and become the best hero that she could be. She quit her Homeland Security job to devote her full time to superhero work. After that, she became heavily involved within the next two events: Civil War, where she was on the side of pro-registration and caught a spy in the group, ousting her in the process. Secret Invasion, when the entire world had been infiltrated as Skrulls, she was targeted by S.H.I.E.L.D. and forced to prove her innocence. She did do that, but once it was all over and the population blamed Stark, aka Iron Man and S.H.I.E.L.D. director at that time, for the invasion, Carol was told by Norman Osborn, who had become the new leader of the New Avengers due to his actions in the invasion. He told Carol to join him or be arrested, and when she turned him down, Osborn sent a superpowered hitman after her, and although she beat him, she overloaded on her powers and was seemingly destroyed, with Osborn replacing her with a fake, calling her Miss Marvel instead. It was thought that Miss Marvel was dead, but she was brought back together by the old Avengers team and beat the fake Miss Marvel to retake her place on Earth. Up to this point, no one had seen the original Captain Marvel for years, so when he had a cameo at the end of Civil War, comic fans were obviously desperate to read it, but it would not become important again until 2012's Avengers vs X-Men, a tale which pitted the two factions against one another because of the Phoenix Force. Mar-Vell returned to everybody's surprise, but it turned out to be his cousin in the guise of Mar-Vell. He stated that the Kree had sent him to Earth to retrieve the Phoenix Force, but the other heroes saw through the disguise. He eventually would sacrifice himself to stop the Kree from being destroyed by the energy, and so he died a hero. It would be then that Carol would tell the Avengers that the real Mar-Vell was absolutely dead and was at peace in the universe. Now in all new Marvel Now, Captain Marvel, Carol took the name after some pushing by Captain America and Spider-Man and became a national icon yet again. A strong female symbol whose new series would show what the legend of Captain Marvel meant to her, what she would do with it, and how the Marvel Universe would react to her new title. She went back in time during an attempt to beat an old friend's flying record, where she woke up in a period of the Second World War, where the Japanese had discovered Kree weapons and were using them against America. Since then, she has become an integral part of the Avengers, and has seen her legacy live on as a new female hero aka Kamala Khan, took the name of Miss Marvel. And it won't be long before we get Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel in a team up to take down evil wherever it may be, which will be, undoubtedly, pretty awesome. Within contemporary media, she's appeared in animated TV shows, films, games, and many more to come. None more well known than in X-Men the animated series where it displayed the full fight between Rogue and Miss Marvel, and also she has appeared as a main Avenger in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, who stuck to her origin story well and even went for the classic red and black costume to represent the character. A strong female character who is finally getting the recognition she deserves, that is Carol Danvers, aka Miss or Captain Marvel.